everybody. Welcome back to Trick Chakra special show in the air with me, Navedna Prabhu. At the moment, Team India looks like they have the momentum at where things stand off at lunch. Day 4 lunch summary being that India has scored 229 for 7. Cheteshwar Pujara, of course, scoring the most so far, 66. Now, India lead by 361 runs. Dusri taraf, if we were to talk about what can really pan out, looks like it might not end today. Now, whether that's good news or bad news, you guys can figure it out and let me know in the comments. Pratya, welcome back. Thanks for joining me once again in the studios. With the way things are looking right now, if you could take a look at the batting summary as well, and I'll come to you. What can we really expect? Of course, momentum of that partnership we initially thought would happen, but that kind of broke. Pant's wicket would have been crucial, although he did manage to get a half century. So a dream run for him. But just coming to summarize what it's looking like currently, what more can they do to kind of get a little more on the scoreboard?
Well, I think they have to carry on. I mean, because there's Ravindra Jadeja, he is also a centurion in this game. So he has got amongst the runs and he knows how the pitch is playing out. Rishabh Pant, I mean, again, you see him doing what he is known to do the best. I mean, a brilliant knock in the first innings, but got out reverse sweeping to Jack Leach in this innings. But I think I would cut him some slack because, I mean, after the way he played, and even in this innings, yes, you can say that, okay, maybe that was not a shot that was needed. But then in this test match, we have seen him playing those kind of strokes and it has come off. So if he gets dismissed in that way, there's not too much digging that you really would want to do for that. Good part for India is that there is still, I mean, Ravindra Jadeja standing at one end and Mohammad Shami. I mean, he is someone in the recent past we have seen Bumrah and Shami. Of course, they are not batters. They are not playing for their abilities with the bat in the side, but they have got the knack of scoring runs. And even in the brief while that Shami has stayed onto the crease, you've seen that he has been playing that part pretty well. So I think India in the ascendancy, of course, I mean, when you have 360, 361 runs of lead, you, of course, are plenty ahead of your opposition. But I think that going by what we have seen, the approach of England players in the recent past, they are going to go for the target. Johnny Bairstow has also, yesterday mentioned it in no uncertain terms that they are going to go for the target no matter what it is. So I think
Right.
that India would still want to, put themselves into that safe territory, perhaps look to add another 75 runs. It's going to be difficult, of course, because only 3 wickets in hand. But if they can add somewhere around 70, 80 more runs, they would start to feel a lot safer.
Right. So 70, 80 being what, Team India and fans would like. But aap sabko kya lagta hai? We could take a look at the bowling summary to find out if someone has to trouble Indian batters, who could we expect? Of course, Anderson being one. Stewart Broad, 2 for 58. So, made quite a comeback in this one. Never know if Bumrah is going to be repeating that particular over. Jack Leach, 1 for 23. Ben Stokes, 1 for 22. Joe Root, 0 for 17 at the moment. Matthew Potts, 2 for 50. Coming back to the bowling lineup of England, no surprises for guessing they do have seasoned players to be doing the job. Of course, Broad did not have great first innings, but he's come back in the second one. But right now, if anybody could actually get Jadeja out, who could that be? If you were to make a little bit of a prediction in terms of a player battle.
Frankly, it could be anyone. I mean, in this format, as you say, that one good ball. I mean, you saw what happened with Virat Kohli yesterday. Suddenly, it popped out of somewhere. But what Jadeja would probably not want to do is to hand out a soft dismissal, perhaps like you saw Pujara doing, because he was going really great, was looking in good rhythm, carried. I mean, in the morning when he started after the half century yesterday, looked good, looked fluent, a couple of boundaries, a couple of good drives that he played, but then went on to give a simple catch to the fielder. So I think that was a slightly bit of disappointing. And after that, England kind of started to make the inroads because you wanted them to take that wicket. If you're the England side, you would have wanted yourself to take at least a couple of wickets in the first hour, and definitely of Pant, because Pujara is another player who can probably bite time, can stand in the middle. But Pant is someone who can really take the game away. So I perhaps would expect that Jadeja would want to show a little bit more maturity. Even with Pant, as I said, that was not really a shot that was needed because the way he can play and the quickness with which he can play, not too many players in the Indian lineup can do that. So I think if he would have been around, England would have been really under pressure at the moment. But with him gone, they would now fancy their chance, because even if there is Jadeja at one end, they would probably try to do things to Mohammad Shami, to Jasprit Bumrah, and kind of take wickets from the other end. So I
Yeah.
think what's key for them is to not allow another partnership to build. And what we have seen in this entire series is that lower order partnerships have actually flourished. I mean, the lower order has flourished a lot. So I think that will be key, because another, as I said, another 70, 80 runs from here will actually add a lot of pressure on England. Even if it's Bazball, even if it's Johnny Bairstow, even if it's whatever it is, it's going to be difficult for sure.
All right, and talking about chasing down the targets as well, the highest fourth innings target was successfully chased down by England, 359 versus Australia. Leeds 2019 versus India, 329 by Australia in Perth, and 977 in India is now leading by 361 runs. So of course, this is the takeaway from where for what both the teams are looking like, and is it possible in a realistic scenario? Let's say Pant was still at the crease, and you could have expected another good partnership like they got in the first innings between Jadeja and Pant. But now it's either Jadeja and Shami taking it to the next level, or Shami and Bumrah doing giving us a sense of deja vu by repeating what happened last year. Now we'll have to wait and watch how that unfolds. But a little bit of a suggestion from Twitter user stating that Stokes should bring himself in. If he can get the ball to reverse now, then the Indian tail will be over soon. What is your take on that?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think he's a genuine pacer. We have seen that, and he is someone again who can take some pressure off the other bowlers, because there has not been a lot of bowling that the England bowlers have done, and in this game constantly they've been getting a bit of rest because of the breaks and all of that. But I think Stokes, I mean, he has got the biggest of scalps. I mean, even if he is not in form, you still rate Virat Kohli's wicket pretty highly. And I think genuine pace attack. I mean, there's Broad, there's Anderson, there's Potts, but Stokes is no. I mean, he's not a mug with the ball. We know that what a great all rounder he is. So I mean, of course, that could be one of the ploys as well. What England would also want not to do is to not repeat those mistakes, because as I said that in the previous innings they perhaps had a chance to maybe restrict India to slightly lesser than what they eventually managed. But those 40, 50 runs, I mean, these are a lot of runs. I mean, even 10 runs can actually go on to make a difference in the test format. And if you're allowing someone like a Jasprit Bumrah to hit you out of for 30, 35 runs in an over, and someone very correctly called it out on the commentary that it's ego bowling, which really does not help. I mean, because if you are trying to bounce out the batters, because that is one of the ploys that you genuinely and generally kind of employ against the tail, to try and bounce them out, probably scare them a little bit. But I think it's better to keep things simple. I mean, if you're bowling stump to stump, perhaps you are generating more chances for yourself to get a wicket. Maybe bring in the slip cordon into action. Perhaps try to go for the Yorkers, or slightly on the fuller length, which has actually worked on this particular track. So those are the kind of things that perhaps England would be wanting to resort to. But I think what we have seen in this series, even right now, whatever little amount of time that he has spent in the middle, Mohammad Shami has done really well to give a supporting hand to Jadeja. So I think once they are back, probably take 10-15 minutes to again get their eyes in, and then try to perhaps bat this entire session. I don't think that India would be in a position to declare really, because 7 wickets have gone down already. So perhaps they would bat until they are bowled out, and
Yeah.
then maybe put England for say another couple of hours, around 10, 15, 20 overs in the day towards the end, and try to
Right.
scalp out as many wickets as possible. Because even the one thing is for sure that no matter what people are saying, that this England side is going to chase 400 and all of that, we cannot forget that this Indian side is known for taking 20 wickets, and they have done it on a very consistent basis in the last 4 to 5 years. So it's not really going to be easy. I mean, scoring 400 runs is never going to be easy. I think that India can look at that total and then try to build pressure on England.
All right. And, in that context, Ranjit Kumar has asked what would be a good score to set. Like Pratyay said, ideally another 70 to 80 runs to the scoreboard should really, keep India in a comfortable seat. But like he stated, if you have just joined us in, then Ranjit, what Pratyay's takeaway from this is that they will look to trouble Shami, even though if Jadeja could set himself, right there at the crease, then it's all up to, Bumrah and Shami to show us their batting version once again, if it boils down to that, that is. Now, moving on to social tracker, let's find out what is everybody tweeting about when it comes to this exciting clash. Another 50 for Rishabh Bhai. What a test match he's having is what Gujarat Titans have tweeted. Mumbai Indians saying Shreyas Dipaz doesn't get hold of the pull shot and is caught at mid wicket. Team India 5 wickets down and lead by 322 runs. Streaming in the big lad, Matty Potts, is what Niall Johnson has tweeted. Crick Tracker Telugu official, but not today. All right. This is another particular tweet coming in as well on social tracker. All right, so before we sign off, let's talk a little bit about Shreyas Iyer and his ways of dismissal. Last time it was Wasim Jaffer talking about how he really needs to kind of change his game against spinners as well. What is your take? What is happening when it comes to different formats and different ways of getting dismissed?
Well, I think he would certainly be disappointed because he did not have a good first innings as well. And this time, the stage was really, really set for him. Because if you are leading by that kind of a margin as India is leading by, you really do not have a lot of pressure. So you can bat freely, you can express yourself in the best of ways. And I
Yeah,
think the time that he spent, I mean, whatever the thing, he is a positive cricketer. I mean, you would see that he's always on the lookout of scoring runs. He is not someone who's going to take the back seat. He's not someone who's going to bog down under pressure. But I think if you have to survive in this format, in the longest format, and given the kind of competition India has, he has to kind of feel a little bit lucky that a veteran of 80 or 90 tests, Ajinkya Rahane, has actually made way for him. So all and every chance that are actually going to come his way are a great opportunity for him to, kind of grab on and kind of capitalize, which he has failed for doing twice in this game. And I
right.
think, speaking of his dismissals, I mean, it is well documented that his struggles against, short ball has been well documented. We saw that happening already in this game as well. So I think that is one key aspect, one area that he really needs to work upon. Because in India, he's not going to be troubled. I mean, he's in 5 Test matches, he's averaging over 50, gotten 3 half centuries, scored a century on debut against New Zealand. So he has, and even if you look at his first class record, I mean, he is someone who has. Just today he completed 5,000 first class runs as well. So you know that he is experienced. He has scored runs. He averages over 50 around there as well. So he is experienced. It's about being able to just eliminate probably those minor errors, because he has got the ingredients that it takes to make a fine red ball batter. But it's just being able to iron out those deficiencies and just kind of apply himself a little better than what he has been able to do, at least in this test match. Because certainly he is an asset, and with the amount of experience he has in first class cricket, you would expect him to succeed sooner than later.
Right. So on that particular note, this is for all Shreyas Iyer fans, taking it down very, with a lot of discipline. I also see a comment coming in saying Chanda Reddy saying Jaddu. That's all he has to say. So I'm guessing he's expecting Sir Ravindra Jadeja once again to step up. But on that very note, want to thank everybody for coming and giving me your predictions as well. And once again, Pratyek for taking the time out and coming on the show to give us his viewpoint as to what could really pan out here. But don't forget, we will be continuing to discuss everything to do with this test because we also want a result at the end of the day. But who's going to win? We'll have to wait and watch. But don't forget to join us once again as we discuss the fifth and final rescheduled test match between England and India right here on Cricket Track.